What's up, everybody? Welcome to State of the Nation, the Athletics Raiders podcast. Jimmy Durkin and Vic Tafur from the Oakland Coliseum, where the Raiders beat the Cleveland Browns 45-42 in overtime to get their first win of the 2018 season, the first win for John Gruden in 10 years. And as you asked him, what does that feel like? Well, it feels like it's the first win in 100 years. They needed this one.
Yeah, he was nervous, he said, after that. Matt McCrane was their third kicker.
Yeah.
They have backup long snapper because the first guy got hurt. And McCrane had missed 2 field goals already. So 29-yarder, he said it was the most nervous he's been for a 29-yard field goal in his whole career. But the whole team obviously needed this win. There was definitely, if they lose to the Browns, they're 0-4. I think they're in real, I mean, they might still be in trouble.
Yeah.
They're in real trouble. So I just think it was huge for morale and just something to build off of. It's just so important to get. It's hard to get wins in this league. And this one was definitely hard to get.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote last week that, if 2018 is kind of already down the drain anyway, what they need more than anything is they need fourth quarter comebacks. They need, and I think we talked on the show earlier this week, that if they go 4-12 and you have 4 wins that are all fourth quarter comebacks and kind of can just start building that magic again, and that's what they got today. They were down at one point 28-14 late in the third quarter. They came back. They take a lead, 34-28, and then they fall back down again. They're down 42-34, and they drive all the way down to the 9-yard line. They end up with a fourth down play and a miscommunication between Derek Carr and Amari Cooper, where Cooper breaks in, Carr throws out, and you think that's it. You think it's done. There's a minute 51 left. The Browns have the ball.
Some fans left, and some players realized, the fans, it bothered Jared Cook a lot that not only fans had booed during the game, the fans actually left. So I think players saw that, and just that spot. The Browns had 3rd and 2. Carlos Hyde goes, gets 2 yards. They review it, and he's a little short. Whitehead and Derek Johnson, I guess, had just enough of a stop to get him.
Pretty questionable call.
If you're a Browns fan,
if you're a neutral just watching it, I gotta admit, I went back and watched it. You don't see spots overturned very often. I know the Raiders had one actually overturned later in overtime. You don't see spots overturned very often, and I don't know.
Yeah, it was close.
It did not look like. It did not look like there was enough to overturn that. So I know the Browns are frustrated by that. I know that's the big story back in Cleveland, and, and I see it. I mean, it was a call. That's part of what I wrote, that this win felt a little bit. I'm not going all the way, but it felt a little bit like 2016. And if you remember, during that season, there were a lot of things that went the Raiders' way. I don't want to say they lucked into that 12-4 season, but when there were little things that could go one way or the other, a lot of times they went the Raiders' way. Today, that went the Raiders' way. Not everything did. I mean, there was the...
they had a bunch of bad breaks in the first 3 games, so I guess they were due one. And I think even then, when the Browns punt the ball, there's no guarantee the Raiders are going to come down and score. They're still down 8, but Carr did a nice job. I think he completed 5 passes for 53 yards. The big one, I thought, was the one Jalen Richard caught a short pass.
Yeah.
Made a guy miss, broke a tackle, gets out of bounds across the field for 18 yards. That was a huge play.
Yeah.
And the next one, Jared Cook's open in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. 2-point conversion to Jordy Nelson and a little lob. So, which probably was the guy I should have gone to last week instead of Martavis Bryant. But I think you see that the confidence is growing between Jordy and Derek. I just think it was a very strong finish for Derek Carr. He had a rough start to 2 picks. One of them was just awful, the one where Martavis Bryant was kind of double covered. I mean, it was closely covered, and the safety was well on his way over there when Carr threw the ball. It was easy pickoff. So Carr had a rough start, but he's strong. Strong finish. I think, as you mentioned, as you look at this year, the most important thing is going to be, the fourth quarter comebacks. And just think getting Carr and Gruden on the same page, see if they click. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with as the years come. So if that's something you can accomplish this year, then I think you can say they're on the right track.
And what was interesting about the 2-point conversion is Derek Carr talked about it, and it was not the play call. He got up and he read the defense, and he saw his old friend T.J. Carey. It was one-on-one coverage, Jordy Nelson, T.J. Carey, and made the right call to a fade kind of lob in the end zone for a 2-point conversion. We've seen that before too, back in 2016. So that was another little bit of a good sign. And I know you talked to John Gruden about Derek Carr. Did he learn anything about him? He's like, no, he still needs to get better. He's still got work to do. He's setting a high bar for him. And
the one thing I thought was interesting when he said he's played great this year. He said Gruden about Carr. He's only had like 7 or 8 bad plays, and 5 of them were my fault, which is kind of interesting. I guess maybe the play caller may put him in the wrong spot. So I think they're definitely working together. I think the teammates have liked Carr. Has made an effort to really stay in the pocket more often. Today took some vicious hits. The O-line had some trouble today. Donald Payne went down with a groin injury, and Brandon Parker took his place. But I just think Carr is you can see he has a lot going on in his mind. He makes mistakes. He's overthinking things probably. I think he has gone from being told he's being too passive now being too aggressive. I just think he's trying to find a happy medium. But today he got in a groove and had a lot of weapons. I mean, Jared Cook's become a big-time force on offense to go with Cooper and Nelson.
I mean, I think the thing about Carr's season so far is that, if I went and looked at, he's on pace for nearly 5,500 passing yards. He's just barely under pace for 5,500 passing yards. He's a guy that has not yet had a 4,000 passing yard season in the NFL. He's completing 71% of his passes. But I think the thing is, the mistakes he makes, like he doesn't just maybe airmail a receiver. Like when he makes a mistake, like he makes like the most glaring, egregious mistakes. Right. And today we saw a couple of them. You mentioned the interception on the ball to Martavis Bryant, and there was the early play to Jordy Nelson where he showed what I thought he showed great pocket presence. That's you want to see that a guy to be able to move kind of around and in and out of the pocket. He had a wide open Jordy Nelson. I don't know if it's a touchdown, with Jordy's speed, but it's a big play.
Yeah, and I heard from the coaching staff that's a play they worked on all week long. They had a couple plays they really were waiting for the right spot, and that was one they picked. And they had Jared Cook and Jordy Nelson kind of going towards each other across some different sides of the field. Cook picks off Jordy Nelson's guy, and Jordy kind of wraps around Cook tight and kind of curves back around the way he came, and he was wide open. Like you said, Carr just short-armed it. But that was a play they had looked at against his defense for a certain look, and they got it, and the coaching staff really was beside themselves when that one didn't work. And then later on, the deep play to Martavis Bryant in the second quarter, which he dropped the ball. It wasn't a great pass. It was a little underthrown, but the ball hit him in the hands. He got to catch it. And it was a play-action pass. They hand off to Doug Martin. It was, again, a look they looked for and they got, and he was wide open. And it's just those 2 plays are ones that Gruden will probably look back on even more than some of the plays that hit on this game on Sunday.
Yep. We can't talk about the offense without talking about Marshawn Lynch. I mean, this was a huge day for Marshawn. I mean, they really were able to lean on him, and what's his final line?
135.
Like? Yeah, 135 yards on 130 yards on 20 carries. Had that 52-yard run, and
plus he would have had probably 40 yards when that was called up. He had a run where he was fighting, and they actually had breaking off a tackle and was seeming down the sideline, and they called it dead. The whistle blew, the fans blew, and that was probably another 40 yards.
It could have been like a 70-yard touchdown run or something.
Nothing against Marshawn. Marshawn's not the fast guy he once was. I'm not sure he's going to go 70, but I have him going for 40 in that play at least. But he's running the ball really well all year long. I think finally today he was rewarded for it. He got some breaks and just, they have the signs of a balanced offense. I mean, they actually dealt with some injuries in the O-line. I mentioned Penn, and Assembly went out today. I think Assembly's fine, but the O-line has not been dominant as they were a couple of years ago, but. Again, they had a lot of points today. I think their offense has been making progress.
Yeah, I mean, and now they just have to go build on that. They have to head down to L.A. next week. But, I know John Gruden very complimentary of the play of Brandon Parker. And I think, Penn's obviously he's not the same player he once was, and he's dealt with quite a few injuries throughout the early season. I think at some point this year you might really want to give an extended look to Brandon Parker. I know you've talked many times about it. There's a guy who's a third-round pick.
Yeah, I think
he needs to be a starter, and I think I don't know if that could happen sooner than later.
Yeah, I think Donald's had some trouble not only with his health, but also he hadn't played great. And today, even today, he kind of struggled early on. And I'm not sure how serious a groin injury is. I saw him in the parking lot afterwards. I was a little frustrated, but I think going forward, I think the plan would be to go with Parker. So I think Penn's just kind of at this point, probably just stopgap kind of guy.
Well, we got to talk a little bit about the defense. They give up 42 points, but
they played well. They made some plays. Garrett Conley with the pick six.
Yeah, that was
good.
Yeah, that was a big play to get this game started. He needs to start making plays. I think to get his confidence going, and it was a bad drop by by Antonio Callaway, who, God, he had a terrible game, Callaway.
Though I was going to go back to Conley. He had that one play across the middle, and in the end, the 59-yarder against Conley. He burned Conley pretty badly. And I think, talk about the coaches, will focus on the bad plays more than the good ones. Conley didn't finish the game. They had the other two guys. Yeah. I think because of that play. I think they got burned so badly in that play, which set up a touchdown, that they used Rogers Cromartie instead at the end of the game. So I'm not sure Conley. Again, it was a nice play on his part. The ball kind of went right to him, but definitely he's made some plays. But also, I think there's some concerns about the plays he doesn't make, and the tackling has not been great. So, Daryl Worley's back from suspension next week. So I think Conley's going to be the guy that affects the most.
Yep, but they 4 turnovers. They recovered 2 fumbles.
Yeah. Jonathan Hankins recovered 2 of them. He got a magnet in his hands, and he was talking about how it feels the bottom of a pile. So there's a lot of weight on you. He's got to hold on to the ball, and people are like, he's a big dude, but just kind of the right place at the right time. Just have a nose for the ball. Mo Hurst with that strip sack, which was a big play against Baker Mayfield. So Bruce Irvin had a sack. So almost should have had 2, really. He won. Mayfield slipped through his hands. So, the defense gave up some big plays, but they made some big plays. So I think that's, at this point, what you got to deal with, kind of.
I mean, the reason that this is a game you have to win is, you talk a lot about rookie quarterbacks when you're facing a rookie quarterback. I mean, I think we saw everything that you kind of expect out of a rookie quarterback making his debut. Baker Mayfield's going to be, I mean, from what we saw today, I think Baker Mayfield is going to be a good quarterback in this league. But he's a rookie, and he made rookie mistakes. 2 fumbles, and that's those were costly. I mean, it was, I guess the word out of Cleveland was the one fumbled snap was he wasn't ready for it. Maybe he got an early snap, but those were crucial mistakes. And I mean, if you're Cleveland, you like what you've got in Baker Mayfield. You feel like you've got a guy that, I know John Gruden spoke very highly of him, said he's going to be their quarterback. They've been looking for a quarterback for a long time, and he thinks they have one. But that's what you need to take advantage of when you're going up against a guy making his NFL starting debut.
Right. I know some people are going to say, same old Browns where they kind of blew the lead and folded late, but definitely some talent in this team and some toughness. I mean, Jarvis Landry's a tough player. Carlos Hyde's, they had some tough veterans to kind of help them turn the corner. I think a lot of the Raiders are impressed. Like Bruce Irvin mentioned how there's not the same Browns team. This win, you think beating the Browns overtime is not a great thing, but this team's actually got some talent, so he's quite proud of the effort by his teammates. So, a win's a win, and I think that's the main thing. Yeah,
I mean, and they all, like we said, there are things to build off of. The defense gave up a lot of points, but they did make some plays. I thought Rashawn Melvin had a really good game. There was that one deep ball that he played perfectly and broke up, and so a Worley Melvin combo at corner. I think we'll see what that's like. I mean, they're going to mix these guys and rotate them in a lot. We know they were rotating in guys at safety, but Reggie Nelson. The interception to send it to overtime.
Yeah, all the bets came through. Reggie came through. Reggie got killed.
It was not. Still, I mean, we're not going to sit here and say that Reggie Nelson had a great game.
No, but hey, man, he caught an interception. I mean, he could have dropped it. So I think all the veterans made some plays. I mean, one of my favorite moments of the game, I mentioned in my story, was after the Hankins recovered the first time, they got the touchdown off of it. They got back on the field, and Frosty Rutgers running out in the field with all his guys. He's like high-fiving them, yelling in their face, getting them fired up, and the Black Hole's getting fired up. It was kind of a cool moment. Asked Frosty about it afterwards. He's like, yeah, definitely you can feel when the defense makes a play and the crowd gets into it, and the crowd kind of fuels the defense. And the defense held the Browns scoreless for like 15 minutes there at that point in the game. So I just think it was a big moment, and Frosty said, I guess we weren't too old today. So they've actually, they obviously heard the criticism about them being too old, and I just think that they have a lot of pride. And ideally, this can kind of spur them on to the better things ahead. Yeah, I mean, certainly this team is hearing the criticism out there. I know Bruce Irvin was asked about Derek Carr, and he's like, it's a shame that he gets criticized the way he does, but that's the nature of quarterbacks, and I think Carr gets that. I mean, Gruden gets that. They all get that, and he complimented Carr that he doesn't let it affect him, and I don't really think it does. I mean, but hey, I mean the way this season started, and I know Derek kind of referenced this when he said, over the last year and a half, really the year and then going into the season, he's dealt with a lot of things over his career, but nothing quite like this, and it doesn't help when you have when you're struggling out there, and then 52 is out making strip sacks every week. And people are aware of it. I heard before the game when John Gruden saw the strip sack that had happened, it's like, oh man, not again. It's just so it's kind of funny how the coaches and players are definitely they know what's going on. They hear it and they realize that Mac's having for historical starts. The first guy that ever had 4 strip sacks in 4 games to start the season. So, I mean, it just it is what it is. It's in their past, but it's kind of like it lurks still. I mean,
until you win a game, it really lurks. I mean, if they if they had got to 0-5, 0-6, especially as the Bears are winning, I mean, because from people can say, hey, move on all you want, but from a practical standpoint, the worse the Raiders are, the higher that second round pick that they gave to Chicago is, and the better the Bears are, the worse the first round pick they're getting back is. And I mean, let's say the Bears dropped all the way to like the early 20s, and the Raiders were in like the top 3. I mean, you could have the difference of that draft pick be like 10 spots or whatever. And, but hey, they won, so we can move on from that. And I know one other thing we wanted to mention is that you talked about a little bit of a change-up with the defense in practice this week and helped maybe be a little fresher today. Yeah,
I think they've noticed that last 2 weeks. The coaches have publicly said they don't think they were fatigued and they were conditioning fine, but I think they privately have noticed that the team was a little slow towards the end of the last 2 games, so they've changed the practice schedule up. I heard just today they did things differently. Definitely took it easier, a lot of older players, so they think it worked today, that the players look a little fresher, made some play. I mean, they made some bad plays also, but enough good plays towards the end to kind of help them win the game. So I think they'll take that and move forward and probably use the same idea going forward.
70 degrees of ocean breeze air is a little bit nicer than 90 degrees of humidity or 90 degrees of elevation. So I'm sure the practice maybe helped out a little bit, but I think playing in this Bay Area climate is just a little bit nicer on your body. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it also. But at least they're trying. I think the coaches are definitely looking at things, trying different things. They're trying to figure out solutions. And I also thought it was funny that they wanted to get Martavis Bryant 100 yards today. They really actually tried to scheme it so they'd become.
We thought that we kind of joked about that.
We were joking about it, but you know what? They were joking about it too. Like, let's do this. They really wanted to have him get 100 yards. To be the first team to have 4 different guys get 100 yards receiving the first 4 games of the season, and they would have had if
they hit that play. Yeah, what did he finish with?
51.
Yeah, 51.
So that'd be 53, be 104. So they would have made history. But the white tiger has claws on his hands. They couldn't catch the ball. So, but they're definitely determined to get him more involved. I know both Gruden and Greg Olson are very high on his speed, and they say he makes incredible plays in practice and things you wouldn't believe. They want that to carry over to the games, but. He is going to drop some balls. He dropped some balls in Pittsburgh. He made some big plays, but it's kind of what he is. And you got to take the good and the bad. He's going to stretch the defense. He'll definitely help the other guys get open as far as the pressure and the attention from defenses. But he's going to drop some balls. He's going to run some routes not the way you want them to be exactly. So you got to take the good with the bad, and they hope and they plan on more good in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, on a play like that, you got to make it it was a catchable ball, but you can make that a little bit easier if it's an extra yard or 2 and he's able to just kind of catch it in stride instead of he kind of had to turn back a little bit. So,
for a guy who's going to have some issues, always catching the ball, making it harder on him, making him wait and slow down, he kind of fell to the ground as the ball was coming, and just like Gruden said when the ball was in the air, he thought he wasn't going to catch it. He had a bag. He was like, you know what, that's not going to work. It's not going to end that well because the ball is just too late and it's just not in rhythm. So Gruden said that when the ball was in the air, he thought he wasn't going to catch it, and of course he didn't. So. Yeah.
All right, well, before we head out of here, we are going to send you over to the John Gruden press conference and the Derek Carr press conference, where he, at the end, broke some news for us. Baby number 3 is on the way, and
wow, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he's probably getting in trouble right now. He told us about it, and then he said, "Oh, my wife's going to kill me." So he, everyone thinks he's going to be celebrating a win tonight. He's probably going to be getting yelled at by Heather for breaking the news to everybody that baby number 3 is on the way.
He's just excited. That's cool. Nice day. I mean, he's had a rough start to the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he says he doesn't see the things on Twitter what the fans are killing him for, but it's passed on to him. He definitely knows what's been out there. Knows he's taking a lot of heat. So, rough start today, strong finish. I think the Raider fans may give him a break this week and maybe see what they can do next week.
Yep. Hey, congratulations to the Cars. Baby number 3 on the way. Cool. And all right, we will turn it over to John Gruden and Derek Carr, and then we will talk to you guys again later this week as we get ready for the Raiders heading down to L.A. to take on the Chargers.
Adios.
Just like to say that was a great effort by our team. We got a lot of contributions from people that didn't expect to probably have the type of day that they had. I thought Brandon Parker came in, a rookie off the bench, and really played good football for us for the most part at right tackle. Assembly went down. There were a lot of peaks and valleys in the game, and we finished today. So I'll be happy to answer any questions I can.
John, what did you learn about Derek Carr today?
I just have the same feeling I've always had. I think you continue to raise the bar with Carr. You know, it's not good enough yet. He's a spectacular talent. He's a great kid. He's going to be fine in this offense, but we keep raising the bar with him and try not to ever get satisfied, but it's a pleasure coaching him. He showed a lot of great recognition. That's a hard defense. I mean, it's hard to be right. There's going to be ugly plays. They're blitzing, then they're not blitzing. They're disguising. They got every look known to man, and he hung in there and played his best when we needed him the most.
It's your first win in 10 years. How does it feel?
Feels like my first win in 100 years. You know, it's just great to be back. I thank our fans for hanging in there with us. There's a lot of, like I said, ups and downs, but to get that field goal with our third-string kicker, backup snapper, I've never been so nervous on a 29-yard field goal in my life.
You mentioned the inexperience of those specialists. Did you have a feeling that you had to get a little closer for any crucial field goal today?
Tried to. You know, obviously you try to do that in any situation, but put the ball in the left hash where Coach Bisaccia wanted it, and give him a great look. He did a good job for us today. The kickoffs were also pretty good.
Not to be cliche, but this is real character when there's a lot. It's like a roller coaster the whole game. What did you say about the guys in that locker room?
We got a lot of character. I think they've proven that. The way they came off the loss to the Rams on a short week up in Denver, we fought on a hot day. Then we went to Miami and fought for 60 minutes on a terribly hot day again, and come off of a 3-game losing streak, and doesn't look good. We're down by 8 points. We hang in there. We keep playing. So I think it says a lot about the football character. You know, a lot of those veteran players that we brought in here, I think delivered, just in spirit today. I think the attitude is got a lot to do with the leadership we have on the team. Well, it's big. We didn't run very good at all for a while. I mean, we had the long toss crack run. I think it was a 60-yard run, 70-yard run. But we got stuffed on 3rd and 1. It was hard. Cleveland did a great job giving us loaded boxes, a lot of movement up front. But we were persistent. We had some big runs when we needed them. Lynch is unbelievable. What a great competitor. And I thought Jalen Richard came in, made some big-time plays in the 2-minute drill. But when you have some balance, and you can get in third mediums, you can call some plays that are aggressive. Hankins? Well, I got to see the tape. Obviously, it was great to get the turnovers. The turnover margin is usually the deciding factor. I think we're a +2 today. And Hankins has come in here quickly, learned the defense. He's been a good player for a couple different teams. We need him to continue to do well for us. Well, I just said the whole team. We're playing 3 rookies on the D-line. There's not a lot of rookies playing on the D-line in the NFL, if you really look carefully. And playing a rookie right tackle, we got a rookie punter, we got 5 or 6 rookies making major contributions. But those guys have to play better. They got to keep getting better. They got to learn some tough lessons the hard way. There's no red shirt for them this year, and we're looking at a lot of great offensive teams in the coming weeks.
Coach, I'm a Raider fan who's traveled all the way from China to represent NFL China here. Flew 16 hours. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for making this one of the greatest experiences of my life. And I just wanted to ask you, as a coach myself, I would like to ask you, how do you approach the team for the rest of the week? Do you celebrate the win, or do you keep them level-headed?
Here, have my visor, bud. You earned it. Yeah. No, we're going to celebrate tonight, and then we got to get ready for Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. And but we're really happy. We're proud. We're excited. And there's a lot to be thankful for, but thankful for people like you. Appreciate you. I love Mayfield. I mean, the way he plays, the confidence that he has. He got out of trouble. He made some unbelievable throws under fire today. And, he got a bright future. I think Cleveland has their quarterback. They've been complaining about not having one for a while. Pretty obvious they got one.
As a head coaching staff, what does today do just for you guys? Do it for practices, do it for meetings, that's evidence of...
Well, we got a long way to go. Obviously, there's plenty of things we got to do better. but it's fun to win. You know, we feel like we let a couple victories slip away, but to close out the first quarter of the season with a win, at least we got paid. At least we made something. We got a long way to go, though. We got to get back to work. I think Derek's played great all year. You know, I mean, he's had 7 or 8 plays that people can talk about all they want. 4 or 5 of those bad ones that he's had are my fault, but he's played great. This is his first year in this offense. We got a rookie left tackle. Right now we got a rookie right tackle. We got a lot of receivers that are in and out of the lineup. Martavis Bryant, using a lot of different guys. And, he's completing almost 75, 80% of his balls and moving our team. So I love working with him. Yeah. Well, that's a good thing we got going. We were hoping Martavis would have a huge day today. We misfired it. I think he didn't handle that long pass. I feel like we left a lot of plays out there when we looked at it early in particular. We didn't handle the ball great, but we've got good weapons. And if they all play good together, we can be a pretty formidable group, I think.
John, the first drive in overtime when you sent the punt team out, timeout, sent field goal, what was the thinking of the conversation?
I wanted to make Cleveland use another timeout. I didn't have a timeout left myself. I didn't want to run the kicking team out there in a desperation field goal, so I chose to run one more play, changed my mind. We had the ball where we wanted it, on the left hash, on the grass, extra point area, kick, but just chose to make Cleveland use another timeout just in case something went wrong.
You talk so much coming into this game that you guys play so well out of the game, just that fourth quarter, you lose it with Steve. Do you feel like you guys fixed those problems and do you feel like you can now fix it?
We haven't fixed anything yet. You know, we haven't fixed anything. We got a lot of things we got to get better at. I think it's pretty obvious. You know, we played good football for stints. We played good football in Miami now. Played good football against the Rams. There's some really good tape against Denver. But we also have some tape that needs to be fixed. And that's the same thing I think we'll see today. But we have guys that are really eager to work. We got good leadership, and we're going to continue to do it. But it was fun to score and, you know, win a game, maybe get that monkey off our back.
We have time for 2 more guys. You talked about the weekend getting your hands up in the field. You were able to get him deflections a few times with that.
Yeah.
You get him a little out of his rhythm in the third quarter?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is let's keep him in the pocket. You know, when you play the quarterbacks that aren't tall, you got to make the 5 or 11 or 6 foot or 6'1" status matter, whether it's Drew Brees or Russell Wilson or Mayfield. It doesn't mean you can do it, though, because they can change the launching spot and they're quick and they can get out of there in a hurry. But keeping them in the pocket, getting our hands up, that's a big part of it. We just need to get home more. We got to get more pressure.
John, if you had to pick a player of the game, who would you say the player of the game was?
Rodney Hudson. Rodney Hudson was unbelievable today. I mean, people have no idea what the center does. Greg Williams is blitzing from everywhere, every possible look known to man. And Rodney Hudson, he put our offensive line and our backs in position to at least have a chance to drop back and throw it. Those are hard blitzes to pick up, and I give our captain a lot of credit. All right? Thanks, guys.
My goodness. Rodney Hudson is not only one of my best friends, not only one of the smartest people I've ever been around, football-wise, but he's probably the best player I've ever played with. I know it's hard to say for a center. You know, when the top 100 comes out, he won't be a top 10 guy, but he should be, because what he has to deal with on a week-to-week basis, and then me changing his calls sometimes, I think, you know, he has a lot to deal with sometimes, and I guess I'm just trying to give you the very best thing I could say about the guy. He's awesome. He's a Pro Bowler. Should be every year. Should be an All-Pro. He's the man.
Derek, what's going through your mind? Down 8, last drive. You know, pretty much game's on the line.
Yeah.
As you walk out to the huddle, you know, what do you say? Tell your guys in that huddle what's kind of going through your head?
Man, win. You know, I've been through a lot of things in 5 years. The start of this year and half of this game has been some of the hardest stuff I've ever had to deal with, because it's frustrating things. I feel the best physically, mentally, all of those things that I ever have, but then I'll screw something up somewhere along the way. And I'll tell you this, though, as one thing I just said, I looked at our guys and said, just fight. Whatever we do, we're going to fight. However this thing turns out, whether I throw 3 more picks or we go win this game, I promise you I'm going to fight. And to be able to sit there and tell our guys that and then win the game, it feels better. It makes for a better story, I guess. But even if it went the other way, I'm just going to fight, man. Yeah, I'm just tired. Yeah.
Flip side, what did you say to them after when you guys?
I just hugged everybody. I sat at my locker, and I tell you guys all the time, I really mean it. I sit at my locker. I like to watch our team celebrate. I like to see our owner, in there excited, our GM, our head coach, the smiles on the coaches' faces, smile on our new kicker's face. Imagine how his heart felt, Imagine how he felt before that last kick, He probably felt pretty bad, And we just kept telling him, man, don't worry about it, man. We just fight, it's going to turn eventually. And for him to go make that kick and for us to be able to celebrate, he's the hero, man. Our kicker, he's the hero. He battled. He fought through getting booed. He battled through people obviously looking at him funny as he came to the sideline, all that stuff, and he was nails for us at the end.
There was a moment when the offense was kind of struggling in the first half. Marshawn was very animated. You took him aside, and you two had a little talk. What was that like? And
Yeah.
do you think that was like a turning point for the offense?
Well, Marshawn, that's my brother. Marshawn's cousin Zell actually motivated us to talk to each other. So we did that, and so we did what Zell told us to do. And we came together as brothers and figured some stuff out, told some things to each other, and we went forward. But it was one of those moments where our back's really against the wall. It really is. And we said some things to each other that, hey, let's go, basically, without saying everything. But you got to give the credit to Marshawn's cousin, Zale.
Derek, I've been a Raider fan for 16 years, and this is my first ever Raider game. I flew here 16 hours away from China. I
Wow.
represent NFL China today.
Wow.
First of all, thank you for giving me the most memorable experience of my life. I'm sure my wife won't be happy to hear that, but thank you today. And I wanted to ask you, you're such a cool guy, like week in, week out, win or loss. Like, are you going to celebrate a little bit today, or
Yeah. I am not a partier. I like to celebrate with my wife and my family. That's how I like to celebrate. So I'm not a partier. I'm not going to be out there on the streets in Oakland or Jack London Square. But no, we celebrate. We like to sit down. Honestly, I'm just so tired. I just want to go sit down. I think one day, when we win the Super Bowl, that's when we'll have a party, and they may see me dance. So.
There would be the fourth down throw to Cooper that looked like probably miscommunication there.
Yeah.
At that point, what are your emotions? You don't know if you're going to get the ball back.
You want to throw up, because that's on. It's always on me. I just got to be better for Coop. But you just feel sick that it didn't work out, and you just you go to the sideline and pray that you get the ball back. And I think our stadium emptied out about halfway after that, and the people that stayed, they got a fun show. When I got to the line, when we initially called the play, we had something else built, but again, coverage, dictated, that could be a matchup, and I just have so much trust. And I'm not gonna lie, over the years, you've seen A-Rod, you've seen Aaron throw the ball to him so many times down the red zone, and it works. So I was like, maybe he's onto something, And I'm glad he caught it.
You've seen John 3 times after losing tough games. Now you saw him today after a win.
Yeah.
How was he different?
I will say this, that when we lost, I think I may have said it last week or the week before, he literally just hurts for us, he understands we work so hard, and it feels like, I'm a dad, so if my son were to mess something up, you feel so bad for him, right? And I think that was the feeling that he had, but when you do something right, that was his feeling, that was the response we got, he was just overly joyed for his team, for his players, and he's really selfless, man. He loves his players so much, and his coaches and everyone, that when we won, he was just you could tell on his face, he was just so happy for his guys.
You were talking about your word with Marshawn.
Yeah. It's amazing what happens, and not to get philosophical or anything for the kids, but when you are tired, and on the outside it just doesn't look like it, right? Maybe he is tired. I don't know. He doesn't say much, in the huddle, but for him to consistently run the way that he does and give the effort that he does, he's one of the. I mean, we all know that he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, the guy is one of the best running backs to ever play this game. You can't tell the football story without Marshawn Lynch, and to be one of his teammates and to be in there with him. For all the kids out there, they should just watch his effort. They should watch our kicker today miss some things and mess some stuff up, and then gut it out and be tough and finish and win the game for us. Those are the things that hopefully our game can do for the next generation that wants to play football.
Derek Carr was made about the fourth quarter of this game.
Yep.
Scored 21 points, come back twice in the fourth quarter. Sort of deal
Wow.
with that. You know, where you guys were 14
Yes. Yeah, I like that year. I felt that year was fun until the end. It did. And again, I'm not going to lie to you. Every game that we've had to do that, whether really Miami game, in the fourth quarter, it was like it felt the same to me. The outcome just didn't happen. This felt the same. We're going to go out there, man. We're going to win this game no matter what. I think that's when you lose those kind of games. I think that's why we get so emotionally drained. It's just hard. It's hard to win these games. And the Browns are a really good football team. I mean, you saw what they did to Breeze and the Saints. You saw what they did to the Steelers. And they're off. I mean, goodness, man, they're a really good football team. So to be able for our team to close one out the way that we did, it did feel like the old times, to say in a long way, yes. But the way we did that, it helps our team going forward. Now we know what it takes. Like, you got to go, put everything out there to finish all three phases.
A couple more guys. What do you do for the offense today to have 4 guys pretty evenly distributed?
Mm-hmm.
Opposed to what you guys had for the first?
Yeah, so with Coach Williams, he plays so many different coverages. He wants to confuse me. He wants to confuse our center and me and myself in the protections, and he wants to mess with our eyes and coverage and things like that. And so it really, you drop back and you try and read it out, and you just get the ball to where Coach designed it, and that's why it was so evenly distributed. It wasn't like, hey, we're just going to play this coverage and take this away. He does so much. I mean, I'm more mentally fatigued than I am physically, and I think I'm pretty physically fatigued, just trying to decipher what he's trying to do at all times and make sure I'm on my rules and on the plan Coach gave me. I mean, it's tough. So he does so much that it just works out that way, the way the distribution worked out.
There was an early pass to Jordy today where kind of a little bit behind him,
Mm-hmm.
made it back to the shoot.
Oh, gosh. Thank you. Yes.
It was like 4 or 5 hours ago, but I was curious.
It sucked. That's what my thought was. I had to move in the pocket, and anytime you get up towards the line of scrimmage, you're always in the back of any quarterback's head is like, uh-oh, here comes the guy stopping and coming to take. So I tried to throw it quick to him, and he was, running as we've done it in practice, and I screwed it up.
Is that an example, though, just to what, even though this was an explosive offensive performance, just what it still could be?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, sorry to cut you out. Yes. I can do so much better. My teammates are my teammates. I'll do better for them. I can do so much better. It's like crazy to see, like, we can move the ball so well. I've been on teams where it's hard to get a first down. You guys have been here, we're moving the ball really well, and then, everyone takes a turn doing something, So the fact that we can move the ball and do the things we're doing is fun, but it just shows you again that we can do even more.
Last one, guys.
You talked about it being really tough for you,
Yeah.
being draining mentally, but I know how you are about your faith. Can
Yeah.
you talk about over the last couple of weeks before getting this one today?
Yeah.
How you've been leaning on their faith?
Yeah, absolutely. I lean on my faith through everything. Like when my son's having surgeries, when we're 0-3, 0-10, I've been, what were we, 9-1 at one point, 10 or something like that during that year. I mean, I've been through a lot of things. And again, I told you guys, I always just try and be the same person for my teammates every day, and just be an example that way. I believe in something, And I believe that my God is good. And no matter what I go through, I believe that he's good. And I still have a wife to go home to, still have my babies to go kiss on. And now we have number 3 on the way. So now my wife's going to kill me for telling you. But I got to go.